Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to be talking about a lot of stocks such as GNS, TMCH, CTI. If you have any other stocks you want me to talk about, write down in the comments, guys. I'm going to be making another video probably tomorrow or the day after. Tomorrow's a holiday, the market is actually closed. So I hope you guys have a really restful day. And we're gonna be back full force next week, guys. I think after BM and our 1000% Ripper, there's gonna be some serious volume, some serious momentum starting next week. And it's gonna be crazy, guys. I'm excited, and you guys, if you're not following my Stocktors Twitter, link in the description for you to join. I'm there every day, guys, every day sharing trade ideas. So BMNR, this one I mentioned it, that 15 pivot, that was the most important level, because once that broke out, it ended up just completely going vertical, several dollars, and then it went all the way up to 50 bucks, right, in one day, and then ended up pulling back, consolidate, and it broke that flat top, and you saw the most historical 1000% squeeze to $161. So this was a multi-day setup. I mentioned, if you watch my videos, I talk about multi-day setups a lot, and that's one of the most powerful strategies when it comes to day trading that you want to have in your arsenal. Which basically the strategy, all it comes down to is when you see a stock make a rip up, the first green day, right, the first pop, then you see a pullback, consolidation. It can't fully round trip. Ideally, you want to see it hold that key support level, consolidate, and then the next day either retest or it ends up breaking out to new highs, right, throughout the multi-day continuation. So BMNR, this was actually just insane micro floater as well. If you watch my videos, you already know about the float concept, and this stock is still holding over $100, which is really scary for the shorts. And I'm really gonna be locked in watching what happens next week. It's gonna be really fun to watch. So that was BMNR. The next play was RGC. This one I mentioned many times. Mention again. This is like clockwork. I mentioned that $15 pivot ends up ripping face vertical, $13 a share. The same situation happened with CYN. I remember it was like last week, or it was like a few days ago I mentioned it. Ended up ripping crazy amount. So RGC, this one was a just straight up play. So the stock, once it started to halt up, it caught a lot of attention, and you could clearly see it in the tape if you use level 2. Once these stocks start to really pull away the price action, you're gonna see these type of stocks, the bid and the ask, it's gonna go up dollars. We're not talking pennies or dimes, we're talking dollars. Just for example, rips from 15 to 18 in 1 minute. So you gotta, if you're trading these type of stocks where it's parabolic price action, which in the summertime you're gonna see a lot of supernovas, you want to stay locked in on the level 2, and you don't want to just look at the chart, right? You want to see the tape as well, and manage your risk as well for these names, because they could get really spready since they're more expensive type of stocks. So the next stock is CMND. This one I mentioned again at the start. $1 hold, psychological pivot. If you watch my videos, you already know. $1 end up ripping to 155. It couldn't hold that 150 pivot, 50-cent interval, and then it ended up just pulling back. But the reason this stock, I mentioned it, and I made a crazy move up, is because it was in extended hours. There's almost always gonna be, no, not almost, there's always news in these morning times, right? Every single day. It's been like that for many years. I've been in stocks for many years. And in the morning time, if you see a stock rip in face, most of the time it's gonna have some type of catalyst behind it. You wanna check what the news is, right, most of the time. But sometimes the stocks don't have news but still rip, but most of the time they have positive news, right? So the stock CMND was a micro floater, which made them price action really quick, and it just pulled away really beautifully. I'm not gonna go fully into the news because I don't want to make the video too long, but I'm pretty sure I had news. So that was CMND. Next up, Wolf. This one again, multi-day setup. So this stock initially made a big move up, right? You could check yourself. So this stock ends up ripping face from a penny. It used to be 40 cents, and ends up ripping all the way to 132. Hold, consolidate, break flat top, new high, And this stock, it still looks really strong after the market closed. It still looks really strong. I want to watch that 125 hold and clear out the previous wick, because these wicks, a lot of bears like these, this pattern, this candlestick pattern, you want to blow that off and start making new highs for continuation, similar to VOR, which I'm going to be talking about later in the video. So that was Wolf. The next one is LIIXT. This one, again, I mentioned many times. If you follow me on StockTwist or Twitter, you could stay up to date with my trade ideas. So this one I mentioned at $1 level. Again, same situation. Made a big move up, consolidate, rip face. And this stock was really strong because when you notice the price action yesterday, I mentioned again yesterday as well, look at what happened yesterday where the stock ends up going from $1.07. And just literally, it was like 5 minutes. It goes all the way vertical to 242 and it holds. So this stock has a history. If you watch my videos, I talk about stock personality and history of previous price action, because oftentimes history repeats itself. When you see a stock make moves like this really quickly, then it's a good chance that it's going to make a similar type of move, right? It's going to start to pull away really quickly. So LIIXT, this was a really nice winner. And the next stock I want to talk about is Egg. This one I mentioned it today, and this one had lighter volume actually. And I was talking to you guys about how this stock, you want to monitor it. Well, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I saw it earlier. It was around like $4.50, and then just ripping face to 698, which was a 51% gain. That's a really nice gain in a short period of time. And this one again had a micro float, which is very important when it comes to trading. The float's very important. So those were like the stocks I talked about. And another one is the last one before I get into GNS, was VOR. This one again, same situation, was a multi-day type of setup. It was trading at around like only 33 cents or 34 cents. I mentioned it. That it had really nice volume. And then it broke that flat top pattern, and then the rest is history, guys. It ends up ripping face 508% vertical move. And this one still looks really strong actually. Afterhours, similar to earlier I mentioned about Wolf, right? So VOR, you want to put this to your watch list, see what happens next week. I think it's going to gap up probably over $2, right? Because it's still holding really strong. So the next play is GNS. You already guys know. So the thing with GNS I mentioned in the past was that the stock really has to clear those important levels, and today again I attempted to do it. I was watching live with you guys, and it broke out actually over 150, and it actually was about to make new highs. But today, remember, it's the day before a long holiday, 3-day weekend. It's always been like that, where before a long weekend, it doesn't matter if it's Christmas or Thanksgiving, there tends to be a lot less volume, and volume is the number one the factor when it comes to making new highs, when it comes to multi-day setup. Alright, so GNS, this was a higher float stock as well, so it's not as easy compared to LIIXT earlier. The multi-day setup, it had 2 million float. BMNR, that one had 4 million float. These micro floaters are very, very easier to pull away when it comes to previous resistance breaks, right? So GNS is higher float, so that's also a factor in why it takes longer, but it still looks really good. And I mentioned on StockTwist, look at the extended time frame. Don't focus on the 1 minute, because the 1 minute chart on GNS is really choppy. It's kind of like barcode type of action, if you know what I mean, where you can't really read much. But if you look macro, look at the big picture on GNS. And again, I said yesterday, this is a story type of play where it's not just technicals here. This is a big like a movement type of stock, right? Where in the past GameStop AMC situation, yesterday I posted on Twitter about how shorts, the psychology behind them, they don't really want to hold over a long weekend because they used to short in the past, and many shorts agree. with me, where the longer you hold a stock short is actually not the best thing to do, because first of all, you have to pay fees, right? And when you're shorting a small cap, there's a there's a very risky scenario where if you're in a short position, right, and then the company releases news when the market's not even open, let's say for example tomorrow, or like a weekend, right, Saturday, then what are they gonna do when the pre-market comes? That's when you see these margin call type squeeze, like, huge, massive 100% gap ups. And I've seen this happen so many times throughout the many years that I've been into stocks that I lost count. So that's one thing you want to be really careful, because over a long weekend, it provides also more time for people to research the stock as well, right? And I notice a lot of time is that after a weekend, not even just a holiday weekend, but a regular weekend, there tends to be a gap up in the morning time, like before the market opens, right? Because a lot of people also have FOMO, right? They like the stock, they research it over the weekend because they don't have work or school, and then they're like, oh, I'm gonna buy it first thing, when the market opens. So GNS right now is in a really nice spot for the bulls. And yesterday it was actually really interesting to see that Kevin Malone, the man I talked about yesterday, he actually liked my post, and that's kind of crazy. He's really like one of the key players in this GNS movement, right? He was hired, he was on the PR, the news, right? And it was really cool seeing him like my Twitter post. So Kevin Malone has a history of other stocks. He said it himself. He was a participant in QNTM. This stock was one of the biggest squeezes I've actually seen this year, recently. This stock ends up ripping face from, I think it was like $2 something to all the way to 38.25, and which is just insanity. So I'm really looking forward to see what's gonna happen with GNS. Write down in the comments, guys, what's your thoughts as well, because I like reading as well. And I don't just like making videos, I also like to read what you guys are saying. So write down in the comments. And the next one that people again really like, TMC. This is another really popular stock, and a lot of people are mentioning this, and I just did like a little research on it, because I had said in the past I could make a really long video, like an hour-long video on this stock, because there's just so much DD, like so much fundamental, so much stuff you could talk about with this stock. Similar to GNS, where this has like a story behind it. Short squeeze, right? TMC. So I was looking it up, right? So this stock has potential for U.S. federal government funding and contracts. And if you know anything about that type of sphere, is that if these type of stocks in this sector, they have government backing, especially under an administration right now, right? The Republicans. I remember back then when this was like several years ago, I think like 5 years ago, the president announced a company. Oh yeah, I remember it was KODK, Kodak. I don't know if you guys been trading that long or more, but this stock ended up ripping. I remember it was like 1,000% from the current price, and it was a more expensive stock. I remember it wasn't a cheap penny, like 50-cent stock. Kodak was around the same price as TMC, I'm pretty sure. So this stock is also on the mainstream news, CNBC. I saw the CNBC talking about TMC, and this was just recent. I'm talking like 1 day ago. I'm not talking about 5 months ago. It's getting a lot of traction, and I've heard that the CEO of TMC has been to the White House actually more than once. So that's also a very bullish factor when you're talking about possibility of government backing, contract, federal funding as well, right? And there's another thing. This just happened 1 day ago. Recently, Korea, right? 13G filing, over 7% position. And if you know anything about Korea, right? They're really high technology. They're really very advanced society. It's not like the Korean. They're like very smart. They know what they're doing. And the 13G filing, over 7% position. is really nice. So guys, I don't want to make the video too long. That's why I don't want to keep talking more, but I definitely 100% have a lot more to talk about, even for other stocks in this video, not just TMC or GNS. I have so much to talk about, but I just can't, I don't want to make it like 2 hour long video. So I'm just going to mention the swing idea really quick that you guys want to monitor. And again, like I said just 5 seconds ago, I have way more swing ideas, but I can't fill up the time. It's like way too long video. So ALT, this one you want to watch because it's been having really interesting price action. It just keeps stepping up. After a dead cat bounce, especially on biotechs, usually what ends up happening is it makes a small bounce and then it rolls over, which is the resistance prior, because back holders get out, and also the short pressure dilution and so many factors like failed pipeline of the drug results or whatever. But ALT is so strong. Like I really like it how it's just the trend, the momentum is just there. Everything is there. Psychological pivot as well. It broke over 5. ALT, I'm not saying that it's gonna shoot back over 10, but I'm just saying to keep it on your watch list. Monitor this stock. This is a bio. Also HCTI. This one again, so many people really love this stock, and it's the same situation as GNS. People are talking about a short squeeze here as well. And this stock, I mentioned it around like, I think it was like a 0.015. It was like around a penny, and they're ripping like 500%, and now it's just in that sideways type of channel where I'm looking at the hourly chart. It's starting to perk really nice. I see that word perk a lot. It's starting to move. All right, so HCTI, again, I didn't really do a lot of research in terms of fundamental on this stock, but mainly speaking about technicals, this looks really good on the extended time frame. You could draw out your lines, and right now I'm just looking at the Bollinger Band. It's in that sideways type of channel, and if you remember what I said yesterday's video, the longer the consolidation, the better. And you want to keep an eye on this stock, guys. It's also in that 50 EMA. Beautiful looking chart. So guys, if you made it to the end of the video, I really appreciate you guys. I'm just trying to help people, and you guys, if you watch my videos, I appreciate it too, because we're like trying to help each other out. We're like friends, family, and hope everybody has a great holiday weekend. And I'll be making another video about your picks. I had a few people mention some picks they want to make a video on, probably tomorrow, Saturday. And next week, I'm telling you guys, I have a really strong fit. It's gonna be explosive, in my opinion. So let's bang, guys. All right, good night, everyone. Have a great 3-day weekend.